Hello everyone, my name's Jules McKeown. I'm a textile designer and also a senior lecturer in surface pattern design. I'm going to take you through how to do a hand-drawn half drop repeat. You may be familiar with the block repeats method where you're cutting through 4 different sections of the block. There's also another video on YouTube that takes you through this method, but I'm going to concentrate on the half drop repeats for this one. So this is a starting point here. So I've got a series of very kind of quickly sketched, abstract, sort of tropical type motifs here. And I'm going to cut through the design to create the half drop effects. So I'm just going to flip over so you can see what's happening on the back. So you can see there's a long side here, and then there's 2 smaller halves. If you compare this to the block repeat, which is all in 4 equal corners. So to compare the difference between the block repeat and the half drop and why we do the half drop as opposed to the simpler block repeat. So what I have here is a block repeat. This is a finished block repeat one. This is a finished half drop repeat. And they both look relatively similar in composition, but they do a very sort of different job. So to test out the repeats, what I've done here, I've photocopied this finished block 4 times. So this allows me to test how well compositionally this block has worked, because it's quite hard to tell, though we can see bits here join up here and bits here join over there. It's not till we actually put it together as a repeat pattern that we start to see if the composition or the flow of the design works. Within this composition here, or the block repeat that I've done, there's some quite strong elements within it. You've got this motif here that, again, I'm actually not too happy about. It looks a bit like a banana. So criticising my own designs here. So when I put that together, so it's been photocopied and put beside each other, this motif is very much dominating the full design here. There's also quite a lot of strong elements because it's going side by side each other. Now let's just compare this to the half drop. So I have a finished half drop one here. So again we have, I'll just turn it around, so we have this motif here. But because it's positioned, instead of going beside each other, it's positioned halfway across. What it's doing is creating compositionally a better outcome. There's a little bit more flow within the design. Your eye's not drawn to the same bits because they're beside each other. So often within surface pattern design, you will find the use of the half drop repeat. So that's the finished version here. So let's take you through the process and we'll come back to the finished half drop in a second. So I'll move these to the side. So I have my cutting mat to protect my table. So a few things in terms of tools that I'm using to create this here. For this little series of motifs, I've used some Sharpie pens, different thicknesses, and also a thicker marker pen. But you can use whatever medium that you use to create the original group of motifs. Key things to remember if you're putting a design into repeats: do have a slight gap at the edge. If the design or the little group of motifs goes to the edge, it makes it a little more tricky to put it into repeats. Other things you'll need for this is a ruler, a scalpel, or if you don't have a scalpel, a pair of scissors, and also masking tape or washi tape, whatever you have to hand. So let's go through the process of creating the half drop. So first of all, what I'm going to do is fold the design in half. So I'm folding it all the way along. You can measure it, but I find it easier to fold it in half. What I'm also going to do, and this is really for me so I can remember where I'm positioning things, I'm going to, at each corner, give it a number. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. I've just done that in pencil, and it's quite a good way to remember how to do the half drop. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to cut down where I've folded the line. If you don't have a scalpel, what I suggest you do is use a pencil and with the pencil draw through the middle, and that allows you to use the scissors to cut through the line, but I'm going to use the scalpel because it's got a much sharper line. And again, always be careful if you're using a scalpel or a craft net. Move that to side. And just so we can see the difference, so I've cut through the middle section of the design there. So often what you do, if you're doing the block repeats, you'll move this to the side and flip it over, tape all the way down this section here, then repeat the process and cut through. But we're not going to do that for this one because we want to create the half drop here. So what we'll do, we'll leave one side as it is, so a long strip here. So we have the 1 and the 3 here. So what I'm going to do this time is fold it in half again. So this is creating the half drop. And again, with your scissors or your scalpel, you cut through the middle section. Move that to the side. So what we do this time, so you can see there, we're going to flip things across. So the 3 goes to the top and the 1 goes there. I'll just double check that I've done that right before I tape things down. Okay. So you can see, just to explain what's happening. So this goes back in here, it's come back in here. This doesn't join here because what we've created is the half drop. This will come back down in here once we've worked in these sections here. So this is all we need to do in terms of the cutting process. Let me flick it back over. So this is why I put the numbers in to remind me how to position things. So what I'm going to do now is tape along here and along there. But also, before I do this top tip, it's quite difficult to do the tape all in one go along there. So I tend to secure it along top and bottom, and also in the middle in this case, before taping it all the way along. So that's it, secure, but equally you want to make sure this bit is filled in because you are going to be drawing over these lines on the other side. So use the tape to secure that and flip it back over. So at this stage, it is actually in half drop. This bit here comes back down in here. This will get repeated down here, but we need to do a little bit of filling in the gaps. So there's quite a big section here that needs to get filled in. So you can, at this stage, you can use your pencil and you can sort of decide where you want to sort of position things. You might look at the original motifs and think what else you might want to bring in. So we've got a lot of these sort of leafy type shapes, but we've all got some random abstracty shapes coming through too. So I'm starting off using the pencil. And the pencil allows you to rub things out and trial other ideas. Sometimes what I do when I'm filling in the gaps here, I might rotate the image around, because sometimes you naturally draw in one direction. So this is going to make me do my drawing a slightly different direction. And again, I'm probably doing this a little bit quicker than what I would do if I'm doing it for myself. And what I want you to be aware of, this bit here, we're going to come back. We can't go straight to the edge at this point. We can in a minute. So make sure with this bit here, you're not working over the edge. This bit here, because we've cut through it, this does come directly to the edge. But this section here, you can go as close to the edge, but don't go over it. And I'll explain that in a second. So again, filling in some of these sections with shapes and motifs. So I've sketched it out using the pencil, and I can go in now using the pens or whatever you have used to create the original group of motifs. And it takes as long as the complexity of your drawing. So this one is relatively simple in terms of design style. The drawing is by all means not perfect, but it's more about understanding the process of creating a half drop repeat at this stage. A very noisy marker pen. Also, in the middle section, with this one here, you can see I have got some lines and little dashes and things like that. So I might choose to bring some of these lines into the middle section. Not too keen what was happening here, so I've redrawn over that section and so on. And round, just switch up my pen. So I'm filling in this section here. Again, I'm doing this relatively quick in terms of drawing. So the line quality is maybe not the best. So just to bring in some of the marks that I've got here, I'm quickly just adding little bits of pattern detail. So at this stage, it actually is a half drop repeats. But what you can see, so this bit here joins in here, but there's still quite a lot of gaps here. So when that's actually put into the all over design, you might see a big section. What we don't want to do is kind of cut through the design to work that out. But a little tip you can do, I'm going to fold it over. And it doesn't have to be exactly half. So what I've done, so you can see this bit here is already joining up. This is the half drop section. This bit here, there's still quite a bit of negative space. So what we can do at this stage is add sections to this bit here. So again, you could use your pencil, or you can go straight in with whatever medium you're working with. So that breaks up that negative space that I have. And again, I could spend a little bit longer filling that in, but you get the idea. If I fold that out, you can see this bit here then comes back in there. So that's the half drawn repeat. And again, just to recap on what happens when you start to photocopy them together. So this is a half drop one that I've done earlier. So this one has already went through the process that I've just shown you, and I've photocopied it 4 times. And so you can see the half drop method. I put it in there, it comes back down here, but this time it goes halfway down the design. So the difference is very much, there's more flow within the design. This bit, these motifs here, although they are still quite obvious and quite strong and dominant within the design, it's broken up a little bit because it's halfway down. So often within surface pattern design, you will find the half drop repeat is used as a repeat structure. So that's how to do the half drop. Enjoy.